Time. Good morning. I'm Youngjoo, a barista of Prefer Coffee. In the Republic of Korea, it's good to meet you, all here. If you look into the coffee market, you would notice that new emerging coffees with new varieties of coffee, evolutionary processing, and special flavors are introduced every year. And I will say this as a pleasure topic, not only for consumers, but also for baristas. Let's think about this for a minute. What if the coffee you're drinking now, today, is the last cup of coffee you will ever drink in your entire life? How does it feel? The most important issue for me about coffee is climate change. There is a report saying the plant cannot acquire enough nitrogen. Because of these reasons, now some varieties of coffee are facing a crisis of extinction. In addition to the crisis of extinction, the environment for coffee farming is getting worse as well, especially in Panama. The amount of production this year has decreased to 70 to 80% compared to last year. And many experts say that the biggest reason is climate change. The problem is it is not easy to predict whether this problem will end within a few years or continue for many more years. My interest in sustainable coffee started after realizing the impact of climate change and global warming on coffee production. As a result, I started to develop an interest in longboard farm, where organic coffee is produced, and I would like to introduce it to you today. This coffee for you today is the Misty Mountain Geisha Natural, which shows the authentic taste of terroir from longboard farm in Panama. This farm believes that for tenants can show the true value of the coffee, which are organic, conservation, adventure, and flavor. There are many approaches to coffee, but this one requires much effort and money. Of course, many modern farmers are trying not to use it. However, Justin, the owner of this farm, thinks this is a way to combine tradition and innovation. Let me share some of his efforts. In Boquete, Panama, he cut down all the geisha trees that were grown with pesticide. On the mountain, which is 1,750 meters high, he waited until the chemicals in the soil disappear, and then started to grow the coffee trees again slowly. Also, by using only the empty ground and not cutting down the other trees, of course, limiting the number of trees this way can limit the amount of production. Also, by using only the empty ground and not cutting down the other trees, of course, limiting the number of trees this way can limit the amount of production. However, Justin wasn't focused on the amount of production. He was focused on how we can produce coffee which could best express the specific character of the variety. As a result, even if the farm produces a small amount of coffee, the fact that his coffee has been sold expensively every year likely says that both his values and his point of view on coffee are correct. Recently, many baristas have researched their brewing method. After each competition, brewing methods are hot topics. I will introduce my personal brewing method. I combine the brewing method, AeroPress, and Aspro bloom over dripper. AeroPress is a brewing method based on air pressure, so it can get a high intensity flavor, but the texture can be rough. Aspro bloom over dripper is a brewing method based on gravity, so you can get a cleaner texture, but we can't get a flavor as intense as AeroPress. So I will focus on the advantages of these two methods. I use 13 grams of medium ground coffee, which is designed for a high intensity flavor body for the low part of Aspro bloom over dripper. Next, I'll use 20 grams of finely ground coffee, which is designed to increase the sweetness and aroma by AeroPress Stronger Brew. I'll use 100 milliliters of brewing water heated to over 95 degrees Celsius for a stronger brew. I will then measure the water with a preheated server into the AeroPress. Immerse it for 30 seconds and then brew after stirring 5 times. When the coffee is brewed from the AeroPress on the upper part, the rough texture and bitter taste will be filtered, and the sweetness, body, and flavor will be improved by passing through aspro bloom overdriffer, which contains on the lower part. The rough texture and bitter taste will be filtered. I dilute the coffee with 100 milliliters with hot water to balance the intensity after extracting 50 milliliters of coffee. I talk about the roasting. I focused on bringing up the sweetness by heating the green beans with a strong initial heat. Since the density of the Misty Mountain beans is quite high, and I try to emphasize the character of the coffee and minimize the loss of flavor by lowering the heat while keeping in mind the time of development can be shortened due to strong heat after the first crack. The roasting time was 8 minutes and 10 seconds, and I roasted it as medium light. After that, I aged the coffee for 72 hours in order to show the best flavor. The glass I will use today is Excite by Krubu. As you can see, the wide and circular shape of the glass allows for circulation of the aroma inside the glass, which can help you taste some more intense flavor after swirling the coffee in the glass 3 times. This is brewing method video. Will help you understand while you watch I prepare coffee. Thank you. Please taste the coffee with the provided glass. Please enjoy the fantastic aromas. The first note is red currant, elderflower, with bright acidity and lovely sweetness, and the raisin, prune, and apricot. While the coffee is hot, you can taste luxury champagne and raspberry with a lasting, lovely sweetness. When it's warm and then cool, you will get strawberry, shine muscat, honey, and even more fantastic sweetness. The aftertaste on your palate is like vanilla, cherry, and rich. It tastes of wine and will be sweet for a long time. These fantastic flavors will come together to make your entire mouth happy. And please check the reference in the book. Enjoy. Can I please have your attention for another moment? Honestly, coffee is everything to me. I really hope I can pursue coffee for my entire life, which is why I wanted to bring up this issue. I also wanted to introduce this conservative and sustainable coffee that doesn't harm the environment. Once again, I ask you, how would you feel if this is the last cup of coffee in your life? Thank you so much. Time.